What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome to the final 10 games of today's episode of Road to Glory. Wait, I said that wrong. Welcome to the Road to Glory. Today we've got the final 10. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, we've recovered. We've had a really up and down weekend league. You know, we started off 9-1, one disconnect loss. We then went 5 wins, 5 losses in the next 10 games. So we finished our first batch of 20 games on 14 wins and 6 losses. I was thinking, oh God, it's going to be one of those weekends again where everything goes wrong. Then, in the last set of 10 games in yesterday's episode, we again got 9 wins and 1 loss. Again, the 1 loss being a disconnect loss. So, you know, that got us back to a really strong foundation of 23-7. Meaning I needed just 6 wins from my final 10 games in this video. And that would have got me to Elite. So spoilers coming up. If you don't want to know what I got and you want to watch it, then I suggest you mute for about the next 15 to 20 seconds. But we ended up getting 30 wins. We picked up 7 wins this time around in this batch of 10 games. And indeed again, 1 disconnect loss. So this weekend league, I got 3 disconnect losses. I finished on 30 wins. I lost 2 games on penalty shootouts. I lost 2 games in the 90th minute. And I got 3 DC losses. This was one of those weekends where if things just favoured me a little bit, I could have potentially got 37 wins. You know, I took 3 losses, 3 deserved losses, 3 absolutely deserved losses. The reason why I say, you know, I could have, and there's the coulda, woulda, shoulda kind of mentality is because when you lose in the 90th minute, those are obviously games that are relatively close. You're even, you level up to the 90th minute. If I got the break instead of my opponent, I could have won those games. If it went to extra time penalties, I potentially could have won those games. And again, the penalty shootouts could have gone either way. And that's basically 4 games right there that potentially could have been wins. They weren't games where I just got blown out. You know what I mean? And for a change, this weekend league, there was only a few games where I lost the game, and I was like, this guy's just trash. You know what I mean? Like most weekend leagues, I lose 2 or 3 games where I'm like, this guy was so much better than me. I lose 2 or 3 games where I'm like, these dudes were just utter garbage. And I lose anywhere from 3 to 5 games that are just closely contended games where my decision making and my poor choices result in losses. And this weekend league, there was literally only like 2 dudes where I lost games. One of them on penalties, which you'll see in this video. And it was because I had speed up lag the whole game. I've been having so much problems with speed up lag since last weekend league. But I got speed up lag the whole game. You know, I lost on penalties, and the guy was just utter garb. And I was just like, how have I lost this game? Like, this is just horrendous. And then there was only one more game back on Saturday's games 2 episodes ago where I lost the game where I was like, okay, that guy was also pretty garbage. But to only lose 2 games to these dudes that I should be beating, for me, that's actually big progress, because usually every weekend league, there's like 4 or 5 of those games. And I'm like, oh man, how did I lose that? How did I lose that? So even though I only finished on 30 wins this week, and even though I did get 3 DC losses and a few narrow losses, I feel like I actually progressed this week as a player, which is awesome. It's awesome. Anyway, got some amazing comments from you guys as per usual. Hafida Production says, hey Nep, do you like the delay on walkout packs? Someone said in the comments that it takes time for the animation, but do you think EA should fix it so it'd be more exciting to pack a walkout? I don't know if they can fix it, dude. I don't know if it's like they literally have to render the image. They have to render the scene, right? So on the disc. So I don't know if they can just not have it. But something that's been in FIFA for such a long time is EA ruining the packs. Back in FIFA 13, I think it was, the player name of the best player would flash up on the pack before the pack opened. I think there was FIFA 14 where you got the XP boost for packing a team of the week or an inform or a special card or something would come up before the pack opened, so you'd know that you'd pack a good card. Just in general, it was that like every year they've kind of ruined the pack. Like last year in FIFA 16. If the player animation came onto the screen super slow, you knew it was a high-rated player. Like every single year, they've ruined packs. I quite enjoy it because I like the anticipation of, first of all, knowing that I've got a walkout and then trying to figure out what walkout is and stuff. For me personally, I quite enjoy it, to be honest. Bahovic Amar says, hey Nep, Boateng got downgraded to an 89. What will happen if he gets an inform? Will he get a 90 or a 91 rated inform? Keep up the great work and much love from Luxembourg. Well, thank you for the kind words, dude. Just to correct you on one small thing, which is important because it's very important for EA. He didn't get downgraded. He had his rating refreshed. That is very important, and it's also the reason why I say it's important is because it's important to the way I think his card structure will work. Because his rating has been refreshed to an 89, he now has an 89 and a 90. So if he gets an inform, it will become a 91 or a 92. Like, it will go above the higher gold card. That's my opinion, but the word rating, if he was downgraded, an inform obviously would be an upgrade. So it might be, it might be an 89, a 90 inform and a 90 gold. But because it's a refresh of a rating, I believe personally that, I believe, that he's going to be, what a goal that was, by the way. I believe that he will get a 91 inform if he gets an inform. Mohammed Abdallah says, I think this shouldn't even be an issue, but it is. They need to add permanent stats to each player your club has ever owned, so that if you buy the same player again, for example, gold 86 Dybala, I want those previous stats to carry on. It affects my decision making in selling some of my players for a profit, because I don't want to lose those great stats. Dude, I completely, 100% agree with what you're saying. Not only do I want more stats like that, I just want more stats in general. I want, like, in-depth stats. I want Football Manager stats. I want to be able to go back and look at any game I played, who scored, what minutes they scored. I want to see how many passes each person's made, what their pass success rate is, what their goal contribution per game rate is. I want everything, man. I want to know in my club what's my biggest win streak, my biggest loss streak, my biggest win, my biggest loss, the most goals scored in a game, the most goals conceded in a game. I want to know everything, dude. I literally want Football Manager style stats for this game. However, because all of this information is stored on a server, for EA to be able to add that into the game would require them to basically pay millions, probably, of dollars to have that in the game. And if it was stored at the user's end, it would be easy to manipulate. People would just be able to cheat it. Fortunately, we have great sites like Footbin, Footwiz, and Foothead who are constantly upgrading and updating. And I know that Footwiz are looking to add something very soon that is going to be great for you guys and great for me. The only other thing you can do is basically start saving it yourself. One thing that I'd love to see, I see people on Reddit all the time, they create spreadsheets where they track their own stats and they allow people to use that spreadsheet to change the stats to their own stats. I would love it if somebody just created a website where you could just go and track all your stats for yourself. So then, you could type in, 86 Dybala, bought for this much on this day, played this many games, scored this many goals, this many assists, etc., etc., so on and so forth. I would love to see that, man. That'd be awesome. Yeah, right now it's a shame it's not in the game, but I would love to see it. Mark Grimley says, hey Nep, why is there a black strap on one of your fingers? Love the series and keep up the great work. Where is the black strap? So this goes on here like this when I play FIFA. I have explained it before, but for anyone that's new and might wonder why I have this black strap, basically this is a controller I use, and I've had this problem with any controller really, but you see like this little this bit here, this little knot here where everything joins. That's where the knuckle of my middle finger sits when I hold the controller. So when I play FUT Champs, after playing 10, 20, 30 games in a day, it was wearing on my knuckle to the point where it was like swelling up and cutting and sometimes bleeding. So I bought a finger sleeve, boom, solves the problem. Now it just rubs on the finger sleeve. I did have one on the right hand as well, but I adjusted my grip on the controller, so I don't need one on the right hand anymore. So now I have it on here. And you know what's weird? I played now so much with this finger sleeve, like I literally just don't, I never don't play games with the finger sleeve now. Even if I'm just tuning in, if I'm like, okay, let me just play a couple of games, I have to wear this. Like if I'm not wearing this, it feels like something's wrong. So it's weird, but it helps. It stops me from getting, just broken fingers. Anyway, we lost to Navinod, I believe it was, who's a viewer of the stream. It was a tight game, a close game. That early goal just killed me off because he played a real good, strong, safe defensive game after that. He finished on 37 wins last weekend league, and that was one of those deserved wins. The very next game, we get a loss from the EA servers. That's exactly the second time this has happened to us, exactly like that, where we see the match, we see the team screen, then boom, it goes into you've disconnected from the servers. And then the very next game was the game with speed up lag where I lost on penalties. So after going really strong, I lost 3 on the bounce. I was absolutely livid. Next comment is from Cushy Bucket. It says, after playing with a 10k team this weekend rather than my usual EPL team with Pogba and one to watch Kante, I did perform well. However, the finishing on my attackers was so much worse than those of Martial and Lukaku. I know my EPL team is better, but you said that team is not everything. In my mind, it was so much harder to win due to finishing of my team. Whereas I do believe the team is not everything. I do believe that a lot of chances go begging with the worst team. By the way, love the vids. And yeah, I think this is an important thing to address. When I say to people that I don't believe team is everything, I don't mean it's nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, like, it is important to a degree. Especially if you're using, you know, like you said, a cheap 10k team, because then you're using players that might have 1 or 2 good stats in key areas, but they also might have stats that are super lacking. And the only way I can kind of acknowledge this is my pack-only Road to Glory account on my main channel. I have Werner as my striker. He is a horrendous finisher. He misses so many simple chances because of how bad his finishing is. But because if you're better than someone, even if you've got that bad team, and in your case your 10k team, and in my case my Timo Werner, if you're just better than someone, you'll create so many chances that eventually he'll actually score one, or somebody else will score, or you'll get a cutback where you can't miss kind of thing. So again, it just comes to the point where, yeah, that 10k team in some games, it might have cost you wins, because it's like, you know, if you're playing against someone who's just as good as you, or just a little bit worse, or just a little bit better, it might be a situation where, oh damn, if you had your Lukaku, he would have definitely finished that, but the guy that you had otherwise, he didn't finish it, and that might cost you a loss. But that would have only happened in your weekend league, probably 3 or 4 games at most, maybe 5 games if you were unlucky. And you know, for me it's the same. On my weekend league, like this weekend on my pack account, I've got 18 wins and 10 losses. Last weekend I got 18 wins and 7 losses. So for me, it's, you know, very similar teams. I would argue that last weekend I just had a few extra games where I was just better than the opponent, where the team didn't matter. And this weekend there was those 3 extra games where my team's performance, my team's lack of durability was a big issue. The biggest issue that I find with using cheap teams or using just gold standard cards is stamina. I've waxed about how stamina is important so much this year, you know, and I do believe stamina is hugely important to players. You know, they lose physical attributes when they have low stamina, and it can genuinely be the difference between you winning or losing, which is why I find substitutes to be super impactful this year, more so than ever before. So when you use gold base cards, not only do they typically have the worst stamina from any cards, but when you're coming up against other people who have lots of informs and special cards, even if they're a worse player than you and their special cards are no better than your regular gold cards, it might be a case of, because they've had such high stamina boosts, that they outperform you at a later degree later on in the game than your regular gold cards. And that again could be, you know, how I lost 2 90th minute winners this weekend league. It could be down to an issue of like, okay, I'm not using my best team. It could be down to an issue where Bale's stamina let me down, or James Rodriguez's stamina let me down, or, you know, Thomas, that centre midfielder I had, that his stamina let me down, or Modric's stamina let me down. It literally could be a case where if I had inform Iborra instead of Modric, I might have won that game that I lost 3-2 in the 90th minute, because Iborra might have had enough stamina to be able to compete for the full 90 minutes. So yeah, I see what you're saying. I completely agree with what you're saying. But I still believe that ultimately, primarily, you will win your games if you are better than your opponent. There are going to be anomalies. There will be situations where you don't win a game that you're better than your opponent. There'll be a situation where you lose a game just to some utter aids. But generally speaking, I believe personally that you will win, you know, 90% of your games if you are better than your opponent. HK9 Gaming says, Nep, can you speak about when you lived in Spain? Heard about on old main channel vid. I can speak about when I lived in Spain. It's not really something that's fitting for this video. It's something I'd probably talk about over the course of a whole video, because it's pretty in depth as to why I moved out there, why I moved home, how long I lived out there, what I did out there, like the trials and tribulations I went through in my life out there. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, I did live in Spain, in Puerto Banús, for like 6 months. Cal Riley says, Nep, do you think work rates cancel out instructions or vice versa? Would like to know your opinion on work rates instructions in general. I think anything like work rate should be changeable. As a manager, because this is my ultimate team, I am the manager of my club, I should be able to dictate what my players do. In real life, a manager would say to a fullback, stop attacking. Like, don't do that. If you want to play for my club, if you want to play in my team, if you want to play, you know, for trophies for us, stop being a guy that bombs forward. And so in FIFA, you should have the opportunity to change, say, David Alaba's work rates from high attacking and medium defensive to medium attacking and high defensive. Why can't I change that? It's a basic principle of football. Like, I don't understand why I can't change that. I don't know what works more. I don't know what takes precedent. Player instructions, work rates, or custom tactics. Right? For example, I have Diego Costa as my centre midfielder in my main team. He has high medium work rates. If I set him to stay back while attacking, what does he do? I don't know. I don't know what he does. Does he stay back while we attack, or does he bomb forward because he's got high attacking work rate? I think it's an important thing to know. I don't know why we don't know this. I don't know. I'm unsure, dude. I wish I knew which one took precedent. I wish I knew which one was the more important one. And if, for example, the player instructions are more prevalent than the work rate. So if, let's say I set him a player with high attacking work rate to stay back while attacking, if he then does stay back and ignores his work rates, what's the point of having the work rates? Just remove them. Just put player instructions in and let the players decide what they want to do. If, however, they take the work rates above the player instructions, what's the point of the player instruction? What's the point of me saying to someone, stay back when we go forward? I want you to stay back. And he says, yeah, but I a high attacking work rate, so I'm going to go forward anyway. What's the point of having me set him to stay back while attacking? I don't get it. I would love some clarification from EA on that one. Amir Meliji says, Nep, there is a strange myth in the game. Leicester City striker Musa was 5'7" in FIFA 16, but in FIFA 17 is 5'9". He still feels 5'7" though. Do you have any explanations? I don't know how they gauge the heights and stuff. They get the height wrong quite a lot on a lot of players. But it's laziness, essentially. There are quite a lot of character models that they just copy paste. For example, Thomas, that special midfielder we've got on the bench, and Renato Sanchez are identical character models. Thomas is way, way bigger than Renato Sanchez, yet they are identical character models. Thomas's card on his face, he's got black hair, he's got a mohawk. In game, he is Renato Sanchez in game, 1,000,000,000%. They have copied Renato Sanchez. They have pasted it, and then they've done what they need to do over the face of things to make it look like Thomas's card. But it's the same thing. Last year or the year before, I also had the same issue with Jesse Rodriguez. Jesse Rodriguez and Cristiano Ronaldo were the same character model. When they created the game, they created Cristiano Ronaldo, they were like, Jesse Rodriguez, copy, paste, boom, that's now him. Which is why I feel like I loved Jesse Rodriguez, because even though he was 5'9" or 5'10", he felt huge. He felt massive. He felt like he had the physicals of Ronaldo. This year again, two players that are identical are Casemiro and Cristiano Ronaldo. I can't tell you in this team, because I've got Casemiro in this team and I've never used him before, I can't tell you the amount of times where I had Casemiro and I tried doing a McGeady spin or a scoop turn or doing something that I would do with Ronaldo and be like, oh my God, how has he caught up with Ronaldo with Casemiro? He's caught up with Casemiro. It's the same guy. I don't understand. I don't understand how or why they do it. But there are so many character models that are the same. So it wouldn't surprise me, dude, that even if they've changed if you go to Musa, it says he's 5'9". Wouldn't surprise me if he's just still 5'7" in game. But anyway, guys, that was our last game. We ended up getting 7 wins, 3 losses. Obviously, 3 disconnect losses throughout this time around. We got to Elite, which is amazing. I was just so happy to be able to get to Elite. That was big for me for this week. But this is going to be the end of the gameplay. I will be right back. So dudes, we managed to finish on 30 wins this weekend, and I tell you what, I'm alright with that. We got 3 disconnect losses during the 40 games. I lost 2 on penalties, I lost 2 to 90th minute goals, and then there were 3 losses that I took where I just deserved to lose. Kind of sounds like excuses, and it's not, it is, but it isn't. For me personally, I'm trying to rationalise what went wrong and where it went wrong. Sad that we've got our 300th loss notched onto the board, but so when we take a look at the whole week, I had that 5-5 bad game period on Saturday, but we went 9-1, the one being a disconnect loss, 5-5, 9-1 again, the one being a disconnect loss again, and then we went 7-3 in the final 10, one of those being a disconnect loss. One of those is a loss on penalties, and one of those a deserved loss. If we reflect on this week, this definitely was a weekend where 35, 36 wins was a possibility for me. I just got really unfortunate with several things. I felt like I'd played good FIFA throughout the whole weekend. Even in the Saturday where I lost those 5 games, you know, I literally lost one on penalties after dominating it. I lost the one on this video here. I lost on penalties after controlling it. I lost the game, the second to last game, or the third to last game. I lost to the dude on penalties, and I had speed up lag the whole game. Like you can't play in these conditions, man. This was definitely a week where 34, 35 wins was in my grasp, and I feel like EA took it away from me. I played 3 games with full speed up lag. One of them I managed to win. The guy rage quit quite early. One of them disconnected at 0-0 at like the 40th minute, so you wouldn't have even seen that anyway. And one of them I ended up losing on penalties. But to get to Elite after being 14-6 after the first 20 games, you know, I genuinely was worried that I wasn't going to be able to make it. I'm very, very happy to have picked up Elite. Of this team, I'm going to be selling Gareth Bale. We'll check his stats. 64 games he's played for us, 24 goals, 27 assists. Overall, that's not good enough. For a guy that's worth 300 or cost 320,000 coins, you know, for a guy who's 90 rated, he should be putting in a bigger shift. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sell Gareth Bale. I might do the sales and stuff in a different video, actually. He's still 320k, so I haven't even lost any money on him. Casemiro, James Rodriguez are going to go. Varane I'll probably keep, you know. Is he fresh? He's not fresh. I'll probably sell him, actually. He's done great for us. 5 goals from Varane. That's mental. Oblak was good. Martinez has been solid for us. Alba was good. Modric, James Rodriguez just gets too tired too quick. I don't know how I'm gonna fit Ronaldo into our not an EPL team, but I'm probably going to do it one way or another. The obvious choice would be to switch to a 4-3-3 regular or a... here, let me actually create a new squad. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I don't want this video to be too long. We'll actually make a new video. I'll make a video building the team. But there's 2 formations that are super easy to get Ronaldo into and to get other people, all the other players. One of them is a 4-4-2. You know, we can put Ronaldo at left mid. We can put Marcelo at left back, for example, and I don't know, like Morata up front and then make subs, or we could put Benzema up front and then have, you know, like Pogba in the centre midfield, so Benzema would get the links. Basically, we could go Real Madrid down that left-hand side. Alternatively, probably the easier way would be to start with this formation, Ronaldo in at left wing, Modric at left centre mid, and Marcelo Marcelo would have to be the dude. Marcelo at left back, and we could just play with those dudes, right? And then we could just switch formation in game. I'm not a huge fan of switching formation in game, but if it means getting Ronaldo into the team on 10 chem, I'd definitely be up for that. On top of that, then we could start with Ibra at striker. Obviously, let's go special. You know, we could start with. I suppose I've got Suarez. I forgot about that Suarez card, actually. Saying that, then again, maybe the 4-4-2 would be better, and we could put Suarez up front, Ronaldo at left mid, and Andre Gomes at centre mid, because then all of them would get enough chem, build a BPL team around the rest of it, and just take out Andre Gomes early. But I don't want to have to make subs. I'd rather have Suarez on 8. I'd rather actually start with Ronaldo and Suarez on 8 chem each, just with one link. I don't know. I'll figure it out anyway. But the bottom line is, of that team, there's a lot that I enjoyed. There's a lot that I didn't enjoy. I was really happy to, as I say, really happy to pick up 30 wins over the whole weekend, just because of how bad it could have been. You know what I mean? It could have gone so wrong. At 14-6, I could have ended up falling apart and finishing with 26, 27 wins again, like I did a couple weekend leagues ago. But I fought for it. I played some good FIFA. I got super unlucky. 2 penalty losses, 3 disconnects, 2 90th minute losses. And I'm not saying I would have won those 90th minute loss games, but going into extra time, anything could have happened. I could have won them. You know what I mean? I genuinely could have finished with 35, 36 wins this weekend league. Gutted that I haven't. But overall, this team was decent. I would recommend the whole team, with the exception of probably Bale, and probably with the exception of James Rodriguez, just because he's a liability late in the game. His stamina is just not good enough. It's just absolutely not good enough, which is horrendous. You can see there, 33 games, he only scored 2 goals and 6 assists. I don't think our midfield did much at all. 2 goals and 5 assists from Modric, 2 goals and 6 assists from Casemiro. It's all the same. Varane outscored them all with 5 goals and 3 assists. We got the 5 assists from Juan Fran altogether. We got 2 goals and 1 assist from Alba on the left-hand side. Suarez is still picking up goals. You know, we're still, what are we? We're 41 goals behind now. I think we were 39 goals behind before, but again, because 2 disconnects, that's two games on his tally where he doesn't get any stats, you know what I mean? Sorry, 3 disconnects, 3 games where he doesn't get any games on his stats. Bale was horrendous. Cristiano Ronaldo's been amazing. 58 goals in 59 games and 19 assists. This is what I want from Bale. I want them to have a share of this. I would be happy if Ronaldo was 59 games, 50 goals, 10 assists, and if Bale was, you know, 64 games, 40 goals and 20 assists. That would make me happy if they had a more share of it, but Bale just doesn't get involved enough. But anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.